Hello there and welcome to yet another video on this series of videos in responsive web design. I'm trying to do my best to explain as much as possible. I know I said the videos will not be that long, but I think giving you as much information as possible is more important than making it just short videos of which you watch and don't understand. So in the previous video, I made use of media queries without actually explaining. So in this video, we're going to look at media queries and breakpoints. To begin, let's go on to Google. I think I did research on breakpoints. Okay, breakpoints web design. You see here, this is like a mobile. When you have your mobile in the portrait, you have it in landscape. Depending on how you hold your mobile, you see that you have different breakpoints, and these breakpoints are those dimensions. You say, okay, when I attend this dimension, I want to redefine my CSS, let elements start displaying themselves like this. You bring in new rules and so forth and so on. So media queries, when using media queries, you would define breakpoints, and in each media query you redefine your CSS rules. So if you look at here at media only screen, so I'm saying that it should work only on screens, and the mean width here, it is 450 pixels. So why mean width? Mean width is a minimum boundary, and I would advise you to always use mean width because there's an existence of a max width. You could use it depending on your use case. I think that will only depend on your use case that you might have to use a max width, but I've always been using mean width. So how does it work? The CSS that is not in any media query will actually work for all the different media queries, as this is defined out of any media query. There's nothing here, which is why I say I start from mobile. So everything that's in mobile, I'll put it there. So every CSS rule that I define here is active here, unless I rewrite it, because here is mean width. Unless I rewrite and call in that class and I give it a new rule, if I don't do that, the CSS out here will still be functional on this, from this dimension and going upward. So that's basically it. So no, that's not basically it. Let me explain again. Now when I'm in media query, as I said, and media only screen, when I'm in here, I can redefine my CSS rules, as I said, and of course I could also bring in new rules that I did not have initially, depending on my use case, the use case I'm trying to achieve, depending on the view I'm trying to build. I will make in new CSS rules. So we had this, and our result is something like this for now. So first thing is that when we reach here, we want to bring back the menu here. We want this menu to be visible. So that we will do at the level of the media query in here, because as I said, if we define the CSS rule and we don't overwrite it, it continue living on. So we are defining this rule here, as we have not overwritten it down here. That's why that element is still hidden. So let me put it up here. I'll call, instead of display none, I can have it display flex. I think it will be display flex because it has children. Display flex there. So let's refresh. We have it. We have now this element. So what we have to do is hide this other guy. We don't need this man. We need to hide this guy here. It means I'll come here, this the bar, I need to give it, okay, far solid, far bars. I think that should be the only element there with bars that I've used so far. I'll call the CSS, I'll call it, then I give it display none. I don't need it here. Display none here. If we refresh, have I saved? Yeah. Was wrong. Why didn't it go? Let me give it a class. Yeah, this is a class. But okay, let me give it a class here and see something. Bars. I'm asking it to go. I don't want to see it after 450 pixels. It's still there. Why? This is supposed to go. Did I write my CSS? Is a CSS well? Display none. Yeah, it's supposed not to be there. Okay, things like this happen. So what might the problem be? Let me check my media query boundaries. This opens here, closes there. This opens here. Okay, so it is inside the media query. There's no issue. There's no question with that. But what is happening? Why isn't it working? Save. Or is it that I've not been saving this thing? Quite interesting. Okay. Let me do something here I think important. Okay. So since I'm taking that element from Fun Awesome, it definitely have its own CSS and stuff like that. That's why I had to add this important key here, because I don't know what CSS permits to display there. So this important here is actually saying that this rule I'm putting in here, important executed. Okay, now if we look at this menu, we see, okay, we have made the display flex that side by side. It was that side by side here. So I don't think I was supposed to give a display flex out as here. I will just say display block. I'll just save display block for now. I know why I'm trying to. I'll explain that later on. Display block, let them be as they are now. Then in here, I will take this guy. There's a row here, this class row. I'm going to give it to this element here. I'll give you the class row. When I give you the class row, okay, did I save? I'm doing things without saving. Yeah, this is saved. Is this guy that's not saved? Okay. Let me try something else. I've given the class row. There was supposed to be a change. It did not change. Let's see here. Class row. So I know if it's not that display block that I did down there. Oh, it's actually it that I did. That's overriding. So I have another class here, row. Class row. We already know what our row is doing. Our row is putting this in flex. So here at the level of CSS, let me bring back the display flex here, which is something I do not want to do, like this display flex, because I normally want to have display flex once in my code. So if I have that as display flex, I'll remove this row here, save. We have them, but they're squashed in. They're just like oof. So first thing is I handle this li, this list style. I will not handle it at the level of media queries. I want to handle it up here, so that if there's any list item that will come along later on, I will not have to be doing the CSS again. So style, list style none, list style none. I want to remove those bullet points. Then I have to space them. I'll still do here, because no, it's not here. I have to have it at the level of the media query here. So main items display flex. Let me see. Now the next thing we are going to have is justify content space between. Justify content. Okay, it's taking the what I want is to call a class of justify content. I always like to get each flexbox item to have its own class, justify content, space between, like that. Justify content space between. Let me remove this. Justify content space between. Then I'm going to add MD here because now we are a medium device. So I do justify content space between, like that. So if I take this and I give it to whom, and look at their parent, this is their parent, this is the two children here. So I'm going to give this here, save. Is there going to be some space there? Okay, there seems to be no space here because their parent already does not have a height. What's happening? Okay, their parent does not have a width, so let's handle that. CS up, I've not even saved here. I don't know why it's taking time to refresh. Okay, their parent does not have a width. What is that called? Is it menu items? Was it menu items here? It doesn't have a width yet because we did not give it and its siblings a width. This class here, I think for this logo, if we give it a call of call of 2 is okay, right? Call let me see, no, 2 MD. If you remember what we said about MD, and then this guy, I'll give it the call 8. No, call 8 will be too much given that there's some space in the middle. Yeah, call 8. Let me see, call 6. Call 6 is better. Call 6, if it's small, we can add it. We can always change to 7 to 8, whatever. MD. Voila, now we have some space amongst these because we justify content space between. Now we have some space. The next thing we are looking at is giving some space between these elements themselves. And the way we do that is identifying their parent element, menu items. Okay, this one is going to be a little tricky here for the class name. Let me do a composition here. No, let me just get a class name. Menu items, because there's already menu items there. I don't want to give the same class. Menu items, let me just put a 1 there. We had not analyzed the class names. Copy, save here. That's be a class. Okay, so inside this class I'm going to say gap 40. Oops, I've forgotten the unit for gap. Quite interesting. I think it should be pixels. Wow, that 40 is too big. That's why it has gone down. So let's take gap. Let me take 15. And this will work per different media queries because you see, if you see CS15 in tablet is small, but when you increase, you see that at this level you have to increase it maybe back to that 40. So that's why there are usually several breakpoints in which you are handling whatever is going on your screen. Okay, if we come back, we have to give some gap here too. The tricky part is, okay, let me just give it a class here. Social icons. Yeah, social icons. Copy, save. I think these social icons should have the same rule as these, so I'm just gonna do this. Yeah, there are two different classes. They're not composite. Voila. So we have them spaced out. You see, our website is already taking phase. That's basically what responsive design is all about. You see, it goes out, it comes. When you are seeing something like this, it means you actually have either you increase your breakpoint or you redefine it and add something. So this is 532. Here it was 480. What do we define in our code? Our code where we have 450. So let me just take it to 80. 480. That way, if I refresh, this is 480. So you see, even at this level, we are not yet this 4. Let's put 480 here. This is 480. That's the mean width. So this is when the tablet starts, and when you look at it this way, you see that it's still not the best. So maybe one thing you could do is you could change this call here. Instead of it being called 6 here, instead of this being called 6, you could say let it be called 7. Why not 8? Call 8, so it can take in this some space from here and present itself well. Even at that level, it's still not okay. Even at the call 8, is still not well presented. So why not 9? Because the other guy is just 2. Even 10. Why not even 10? Depending on your design, you see, as I was saying, depending on the use case you're trying to achieve. You see, call 10 is kind of giving us the vibe, but this space now is far bigger than this, so you need to readjust with whatever you're doing. So what did we do? I think let me just arrange that for now. Social icons, we have these, which is a parent element that has the display flex. Then we have the first child. Okay, these guys, we are not giving them how many columns they are taking, because I'm not seeing any number of columns here. So to begin with, this has a lot more columns, so I could have said something like calls, let me see, 7 plus how many, what gives you 12 plus 5. Okay, call that MD, that's 7. And then here I could see, instead of 7 in this case, I say 4, because there are just 2 of them. Does that work? My PC is getting a little bit hot here. Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Instead, give this guy more space. Okay, 3, 8. Okay, we're almost there. Voila, you see, we'll still have to handle this space, get in some space here, getting some space there. That's basically the concept of responsive design, redefining your CSS per breakpoint. At a certain point in time, you're hiding elements, you're showing elements. That's the concept of responsive web design. Ciao, ciao, ciao. See you in the next video.